Welcome to Chapter 2, Servicing the Subaru lineartronic Generation 1 transmission. In this chapter, you're going to learn oil fill locations, type of oil, and amount of oil needed to fill the transmission in a differential. My name is Jared Warren. I'll be your host for this course. It's a great day to fix transmission, so let's get started. ATRA recommends changing the fluid checking the fluid levels every 1,500 miles. Changing the fluid every 30,000 miles, and replacing the fluid and filter every 100,000 miles. Take into consideration the types of driving condition and temperatures the vehicle is operated in. Make sure you use only Subaru CVT F fluid for this unit. We have seen shops that have had to pay for new transmissions because they did not buy the correct fluid. The correct fluid is a lot cheaper than a $7,000 transmission. Also, one thing I'd like to note, make sure temperatures are correct when we're filling this transmission and checking the fluid level. This is very important on this transmission. We'll cover this a little bit later in more detail. Many times we see this transmission in here because of failed differentials, usually for no oil in the differential. A lot of times they just left a quick lube shop not too long ago. We can do cooler flushes or check cooler flow. Cooler return is the bottom line. Some shops like to use the fluid exchanger. If you do this, you need to make sure you exchange the fluid with only Subaru CVT Type F fluid. Do not use any additives or cleaning agents products in this transmission. It can cause internal issues with the transmission. In most cases, just servicing the transmission fluid in the pan is sufficient. If you have too much metal contamination or something like that, a fluid change is not going to do much. Alrighty, so to go ahead and change the transmission fluid, we're going to remove this Allen plug here on the left-hand side. Go ahead and drain the transmission fluid out. Then we're going to go ahead and remove the pan bolts. Retorque the drain plug to 37 foot-pounds. And then we're going to go ahead and inspect the pan, of course, for any fluid contamination, metal, anything on the magnet. At that time, too, you can also change the filter. This one is a screen style filter, nothing special about it. Go ahead and put the pan back on. Subaru has a special RBT, that's a red color sealant. It'd be a good choice to get that. You could also, the black RTV has been working fairly well also. There is no pan gasket for this transmission that I have seen yet. In the middle of the transmission, right in this area here, we have our drain plug, not drain plug, but a fill plug. Remove this Allen plug. Pump transmission fluid into that hole there until it's level with the bottom of that plug. Go ahead and start that plug a few turns. You'll want to go ahead and start the engine. You want a scan tool on it, and you need to make sure transmission fluid is 86 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This transmission fluid expands kind of at different rates. Temperature sensitive, more than some other fluids that we're used to using. So I suggest you make sure the fluid is the correct temperature, or you may have some issues with the fluid level on this. Go ahead and start the engine. Shift the shifter, park to reverse, reverse to neutral, neutral to drive, and all the way back up to park. Leave the engine idling and remove your fill plug. It should be dribbling out or right at the bottom of this fill plug level. Go ahead and tighten that back up, and we're done with the transmission. Okay, so for the differential, the big torque here is a T75, or excuse me, a T70 Torx bit. Go ahead and remove that, drain all the transmission differential fluid out of it. Also remove this plug over here. This is your standpipe or your fill level plug. Torque this big T70 drain plug back down. It should be 37 foot-pounds. And then you're going to want to get to the side of the transmission. There's a vent hose here on the passenger side. Remove this vent hose, and you're going to fill in this location right here. Put in about 1.4 to 1.5 quarts. Oil should start draining out of this standpipe, this fill plug level. Once it's draining there, plug that off, and then put your vent back in, and you're done. Again, only use Subaru CVT type F fluid. It'll take 11.9 to 12.5 quarts in the transmission after a rebuild. Transmission service is going to take 5 to 7 quarts if you're just servicing the transmission. Differential takes GL5 75W90 gear oil and uses 1.4 to 1.5 quarts. This will conclude our Chapter 2 for servicing on the Subaru lineartronic Generation 1 transmission. We want to thank you for participating in our mutual training solutions powered by ATRA. Until next time, get out there and start fixing transmissions.